I think. Yep, just hanging out on Airs Live. All right, so welcome to Sir Hunt's Reviews. I'm Mark, and who else is here?
Rayz de Alba.
What up?
Was good, man.
Shit. So yeah, you wanna tell me your favorite moment? Okay, so yeah, this video is gonna be about Batman vs Superman. We're basically gonna discuss super quick for you guys our favorite moments of the movie and a little bit of how it impacts, like, from the negative reviews, basically. But Rayz, yeah, you wanna take it away?
Well, obviously, I think we should also touch on if you're here, you might get spoiled. So just know that, yeah, because I don't want anybody, hating me because I spoiled Batman versus Superman for them. So remember, we are talking about a movie in which we both saw, and we will talk about it as if we saw it. You know what I mean? So first off, I want to start off with the whole. I've seen people negatively talk about, like, the whole Batman's parents being killed again. I personally enjoyed it because it's a little bit different. You know what I mean? From what I've seen in other ones.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the beginning sequence of that. I also enjoyed the beginning sequence when we first see Batman seeing Superman fighting Zod in the first Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that gives it a whole new feeling, because if you look at it, imagine you just being a normal man and you're seeing these two gods destroying everything you've ever worked for and just like knocking buildings down, and you usually feel that you have everything under control because he is Batman already. He's been Batman during this, but he sees all of this happening and then he's like, oh shit, I can't do anything about it. To me, that's just like deep. It looks mad cool too, and I really enjoyed the beginning. What about you?
I definitely think that that's interesting how they put it on his perspective. It definitely makes you more so on Batman's side because we're obviously all mortal, so we can relate to being helpless at certain times.
Yeah, yeah. And another thing is too, like, for some reason I don't understand how people. I've actually, believe it or not, I've bumped into people who have asked me why are Batman and Superman fighting, and I'm like, because Superman is an alien, and he destroyed, he leveled basically a whole city fighting with someone else. So, of course, Batman is upset. I mean, they knocked down and they burned through Wayne Manor. Like, they knocked down one of Batman's buildings that he owned. Like, that's not just the issue, but I mean, there is reason for Batman to be upset with Superman.
Definitely. Batman is the world's greatest detective. So being the world's greatest detective, he's basically a cop. And cops are all about preventing crimes. You know what I'm saying? Preventing crimes from happening. And that's his stance on this.
Yo, funny thing, do you hear the sirens now? I guess every time I record on your channel, sirens pop up. I don't know what the hell is wrong with this, but yeah.
Well, yeah, what did you think? Okay, so and honest on a scale from 1 to 10, what would you give the movie? Because it has a lot of mixed reviews. A lot.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie, there are certain things that all right, they probably rushed them a little bit. It's just because the way I feel is that they crammed so much into one movie. So, but that, to me, you could either look at that as a bad thing or you could look at it as a positive, because they've given you so much story. And all right, they needed to explain certain things maybe a little bit more better, but they try to cram so many things into one that I personally enjoyed it. I enjoyed the movie. I think on a scale of 1 to 10, I enjoyed it maybe like in a, let's say for example, 7.5, 8, like around there. I personally enjoyed the movie. The title serves the movie well. It is Batman versus Superman, and then you do see the aspect of Dawn of Justice in the movie, because they are setting up this whole DC universe thing going on now.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like, as much hate and is all this shit that the movie gets, people are saying like the main reason why they're saying that it didn't do well is because not necessarily do well financially, but because it opened so well and it was like one of the highest openings ever, and then it had a 61% drop off. You know what I mean? The following weekend. So critics see that and they're like, oh, well, that means something. This movie's obviously bad. You know what I mean?
I to be honest, I think it had that drop. I don't care. I've seen people say that it dropped, and it dropped that much, and it did, and that the criticism didn't affect it because it didn't drop, like economically as bad as it could have gone, like Fantastic Four bad. But I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I was a little bit more hesitant to go see the movie because of the critics. I was like, is it going to be that bad? Like, is it really that bad? But then I would see people who I knew would say, oh yeah, the movie is good. It's good. You should see it for yourself. And me personally, if you enjoy comic book movies and you enjoy, you know, your superhero movies and whatnot and action movies, I would recommend the movie. You know, and I wouldn't let anybody cloud your judgment. Like, I don't think it's a bad movie. I just think that if you're not the type of person to stay in a movie theater for 2.5 hours to watch a movie, you shouldn't see it either, because then you're just gonna get pissed off because it is a long movie.
Yeah, I think what hurt it the following weekend is, like you said, people hear that, oh, it's not that great of a movie. They hear all the shit, and that puts a stigma on it where they don't necessarily want to go see it. I feel like the problem with people's expectations going into the movie is they see movies like Guardians of the Galaxy and Star Wars and even Ant-Man. Like, those movies are literally action comedies. Like, they're so fucking funny. They didn't do that with DC Universe, and people got pissed. There's one joke in that whole movie, and when Wonder Woman shows up, she's like, what? Like, after she gets smacked by yeah, you know what I mean?
But another thing is with me is that it just gets me upset a little bit with well, sometimes we call fanboys.
Yeah.
And the thing is that we, like, you see me basically and you, we have review channels. We review Game of Thrones and you review multiple things. But like, I sometimes I feel that people take things a little bit too seriously, especially with Batman in particular, because people are very protective of Batman because it is a, you know, a storied franchise and whatnot. But the way that I see it, a lot of people now are comparing Batman versus Superman to the Dark Knight trilogy. You know what I mean? Like, that whole trilogy, I mean, especially the first two movies were really good. The third one kind of fell off a little bit, but they compare it to like the Joker and like for the upcoming Suicide movie, I see a lot of people they're just waiting to compare Jared Leto's Joker to Heath Ledger, like, and they haven't even seen the movie. You know what I mean? So I think that if people were honest to just being a fan of Batman and Superman and were just a little bit open to watch the movie and enjoy the movie for what it is, I think it would have a lot more positive feedback. I just think that they're just comparing it to movies that were, you know, critically acclaimed, and they shouldn't.
Yeah, and I think what most of us compare it to is, like, you know, your Marvel or your DC. Marvel had years to build a foundation. DC's playing catch up. DC had to make one movie that would launch their cinematic universe because it was non-existent. Green Lantern was a fucking flop. I personally enjoyed the movie because it was pretty funny. Like, you know what I mean? I'm a fan of Ryan Reynolds, but it was a flop. So there was a lot riding on this movie, and I think it just got overanalyzed. They cut out a lot of scenes. I will say that I'm anticipating that rated R cut because I want to see all the scenes they cut out that, you know what I mean? Because it was already pretty dark. I'd love to see what those dark ass other scenes were. Like,
yeah, I like in there's one scene that I'm not sure if you saw, that it's like Lex is in this pool with looks like a blood.
Yeah,
like,
with
that scene. I saw that after I came from the movie theaters, and I lost my freaking mind. I was like, "What the hell is that?" I was like, I didn't even know what the hell it was. I was like, "Wait, what?" And I had to like go back and actually do my homework and look at it a little bit. And I was like, you know what? And I like the way that they're setting up the whole DC cinematic universe. I don't think that, let's say, for example, you say with the whole Marvel thing, I don't think that you could set up this universe one movie at a time, how they did with the whole Marvel thing. Like, what each character individually, I think that you do have to pair them up a little bit to give, like, you know, different tones to each movie. Because, for example, like the director, I forget his name, Juan, from the one that directed the Fast 6 movie or Fast 7 movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's directing the Aquaman one, and he said it. When you look at Aquaman is one of like the most made fun of characters ever, like comic book characters. Everybody makes fun of him and pokes fun of him. And basically, what I would think and what I would expect is, I like seeing Jason Momoa with that like tribal Samoan look, you know what I mean, to the character, and it looks like, you know, it looks like thematically like a real thing, you know what I mean? I don't want no little scaled pants and like orange t-shirt. Who wears an orange t-shirt with green? Like, I don't know, man. It's just, people need to lay back and forget about comic books are comic books, movies are movies, you know what I mean? And let's keep it real.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested to see Khal Drogo. We'll do a shout out Khal Drogo's Aquaman, because it's gonna be, I mean, like, Aquaman, in my opinion, is like the wackest Justice League superhero just because he's useless out of the water. Like, okay, he's got a little bit of super strength, but he's like you said, he gets a lot of hate. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, not everybody's favorite character, so I'm definitely interested to see his take on it. But also, did you see the little clip they showed us for Cyborg's origins?
Yeah, with the cyberbot, with that box that
The
just
mother box.
yeah. I find it interesting. You know what I mean? I wasn't expecting them to show that clip. To me, it seemed like a lot. That cyborg one, the Flash one was to me like the easiest one. I was like, okay, I knew what it was right away. But like when I saw the cyborg, it kind of reminded me of RoboCop a little bit.
Yeah, because his lungs and all this shit was on the wall. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird, man. And but now that we mentioned the Flash, that Flash scene, I was like, when I was watching it, I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, what? And like the way that his whole suit is set up, it looks like it's a little mask. It's like it flips back. It's like some metal. Like you hear the iron when it flips back. He's like, Bruce, whatever. I like the way that they're setting it up. And I like the way that hopefully the pacing gets a little bit better down the line. But overall, I think it was a good movie.
Hell yeah. I like how they set that up. Like, it's pretty obvious. We'll throw another spoiler warning up there. But you know it was Flash from the future. And they're definitely going to relate that to the first Justice League movie, which is slated to come out after Wonder Woman. And I think that's it. I think they're just doing Wonder Woman and one other movie. And then it's supposed to be Justice League Part 1, I think, in 2017. I know it's coming out next year. So
Next year. Yeah, next year.
Yeah, it's going to be fucking awesome.
Another thing with me was like this whole the way that they set up each character and the way that the movie ends as well. I like to me, I just feel that this movie in some ways it was just to set everything up. That's like what I got after leaving it. Like, you know what I mean? After finishing it, it was just to set everything up and set the tone for this universe. And it's a little bit more serious than the Marvel one. I think people should just accept it. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah, dude. I feel like once DC does get a few more movies under their belt, we're gonna be able to have it like how we would back in the day. Like, are you a Marvel person or are you a DC movie? Or a DC person? Because eventually DC's movie, like, they're not gonna have to feel so rushed. Because eventually, you know, Batman's gonna get his own solo movies, and Ben Affleck's supposed to direct those, so it's gonna be a lot. Like, everybody loved his portrayal of Batman. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. That's probably the best thing of the whole movie.
Yep. Yeah. Honestly, everybody was saying, like, when I saw the first reviews for it, everybody, I know I got distracted here, but everybody kept saying Wonder Woman. As soon as she shows up, it's so funny. Like, everybody started clapping and like, yeah, I did. But honestly, I don't really see her porn in the movie up until that point. Like, they're showing her, but
she has. The thing is, with me in particular, we've in previous versions of these characters that we've seen animated in comic book, we usually see a relationship between Superman and Wonder Woman. In the movie, it seems like they're pushing more chemistry towards Bruce Wayne and Wonder Woman, because I really like the way that they fed off of each other's chemistry. I think that they have really good chemistry going on, both of them. And also, I like the way that Zack Snyder said that he preferred, you know, because we all saw the ending of Batman vs. Superman when, super spoiler alert, again, super spoiler alert, Superman dies. And basically, it's true what he said. Zack Snyder said that if Superman comes to your house or to your door knocking, and he says that you need to join him, you'll join him. But it'll be a little bit more compelling down the line if it's Batman and Wonder Woman trying to recruit these people. It'll be a little bit more entertaining. So I like the way they approach that.
Hell yeah, more of a story, because you're probably like, yo, you with Batman, with this Batman that they've created in the DC cinematic universe, he tortures people. You know, he's a really dark dude. Most people wouldn't be like super, unless you've already known him like Wonder Woman and Superman. Most people wouldn't be so willing to join up. But obviously Wally does, the Flash, because he said it like they had been good friends. You know what I mean? He chose to go back. Yeah. But yeah, that's gonna kind of wrap this video up. I see some comments right now. I have a comment on this video, and it's from Micro Mirror Cobb Films, and he says, "Can you read these comments now live?" Yes, I can. That's really all. We were just gonna make this a short video. Rayz did want to talk about our Brotherhood Without Manners meeting this Saturday.
Yeah. We have it on my channel, Rayz de Alba, at Saturday at 4 o'clock. We'll be talking about, some fun topics. Basically, Stark reunion, the Riverlands, River Run and whatnot. A bunch of nice topics. You guys should tune in for that, definitely.
All right. And one more thing while I got you here, Rayz. So one thing that we will be talking about is the highly controversial Sansa, and I just want to clear up some things. Me and Ray were discussing it earlier, and he kind of enlightened me a little bit more on the side of where a lot of people are seeing her as like a lot more so than how I was looking at her. So yeah, I have been enlightened in the fact, so I'm not going to be so hardcore on Sansa. I just want to let everybody know. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can thank Ray for that though, because honestly, like I do want to say that like there was one person that kind of went like she wrote me like a paragraph, like oh my god, but I don't know. It's just like when you read that and like I read comments on my channel when I first wake up. Sometimes I haven't even had a cigarette yet or coffee or anything, and I see that shit and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I start responding to it, and then I get like in that mentality, like I haven't woken up yet. You know what I mean?
Oh man. No, but we'll touch on that Sansa topic. We'll touch on it during the next Brotherhood Without Manners video. Yeah, check that out. 4 o'clock.
It's April 9th, right?
Yep.
All right, cool. Oh yeah. I just want to get your thoughts. Do you think it's weird how they basically like turned? Whoa.
No. All right, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, do you think it's weird how they kind of rushed? Like, okay, I was expecting Lex to be evil, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just don't feel like Superman would have been that quick to jump to his side if Martha, his mom or whatever, was taken hostage. I feel like that was not played very well, in the sense that like Lex is right next to him. Superman in the show and in comic books, whatever, would have picked Lex up and just like he wouldn't have taken that from him. I feel like they kind of seemed like they humanized Superman a little bit too much for the movie, I guess, to kind of bring him down.
Yo, to be honest, that's like, you see, there we draw a line a little bit, because to me, Superman was done right in that aspect, because the whole thing of the movie is Superman has only been Superman for maybe 2 years. So he's been handling all these weird scenarios. He doesn't work for any government body. So he's just learning how to be a vigilante. Like he sees Batman's way of doing things and he disagrees with it. Mm-hmm. But he's no different than Batman, and he doesn't know that his ways of doing things are wrong as well. You know what I mean? So that's the whole thing, even with Civil War. Like the whole thing with Civil War now is what's right from wrong. How are they supposed to be vigilantes? Under who or which power are they supposed to, do what they're doing? And to me, Superman, like, yo, that one scene, spoiler alert again, when they're in the freaking Capitol and that shit blows up, yo.
Oh, yo, I was not expecting that, dude.
I wasn't expecting that either.
I thought she had a bigger scene in a bigger part of the movie because they kept showing her, dude. Yeah.
No, like when he has that one, when he's talking to her and she's like, yeah, you could call it peach lemon tea, whatever the hell you want to call it, and so piss, whatever. That scene,
yeah.
When she starts turning the cup and she's like losing her breath, I'm like, oh, he poisoned her. That's what I thought it was. And then when I don't see Lex there, I'm like, he wouldn't do anything because his secretary is there, right?
Yeah.
Bullshit. He blew the shit up.
Hell yeah.
And then you see that, I'm telling you, man, the movie is more compelling and it's more deeper than people are giving it credit. In my opinion, it's deeper than people are giving it credit.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I understand what you're saying about Superman. I just felt like he was a little bit too conflicted. I don't know. But one thing I did want to say about that whole court scene was like, yo, that definitely came out of nowhere, because when they were showing Senator Finch in the trailer, they kept showing her like she's a major role. She's gonna be the General Thunderbolt Ross, like in the Marvel movies. She's gonna be the catalyst that basically to be throughout the whole movie, and she's not. And I definitely didn't think that they were gonna kill Jimmy. You know, that was Jimmy.
Jimmy Olsen, yeah.
Yeah, they killed him. He was the double agent dude at the very beginning of the movie or whatever. With yeah.
I mean, They did certain things, and they're approaching this universe. I like it though because they're taking the little. It's not like a. It doesn't seem like a straight up kid movie. Like Marvel movies, you could tell it's kid friendly, and But with DC, I enjoy it because it's not kid friendly. It's the same thing with Game of Thrones. Like anybody who looks at Game of Thrones and wants to censor it just shouldn't watch it because it is what it is. Compared to the books and to the source material, it's been watered down. And a lot of people, this is something else that I want to know your opinion on this. Batman killing people. How do you feel about that?
Oh yeah, because he had a high body count that movie, dude. Like he wouldn't even think about it. And it was funny because he's talking to Alfred and he's like, Alfred, thousands and thousands of people died when Superman attacked. We've got to do something to prevent it. Like, bro, you took out like 1,000 people throughout the movie.
I know, like
even if they didn't die, they would almost want to be dead because they're paralyzed for the rest of their life, like in a coma.
Wait, listen to this though. In my opinion, it's realistic, bro. Like you cannot be a man and not try to shoot someone, not break somebody's.
Hell yeah.
Like Superman, all right, he overpowers people. He doesn't have to kill people. Superman will get shot and he won't have. But Batman is a man. Like he's a real dude. Yo, don't tell me. Like, have you seen the show Daredevil?
Mm-hmm. A little bit of it, yeah.
Have you? But in season 2, spoiler alert for season 2, it's pretty early on. But Daredevil in one scene gets shot in the head, and he has a mask on, but that shit fucks him up because it's true, it's realistic. If you're a nutcase in a suit fighting crime, you get shot in the head. You could have whatever the hell you have on in your helmet, but it will hurt you. It could kill you. You know what I mean? And I do appreciate the fact that Batman does kills people. Like he does. If he has to kill you, he will kill you. If you don't stay down, you don't see how many people he just giving people concussions left and right. I love
that guy who he punched through the floor. He was dead. That guy was that was like straight out of the Dark Knight video games. Like
yo, that was dark, but I appreciate it though. Like you know what I mean? It's realistic. The only thing about like Lex, for example, that I didn't appreciate is
too
like
nerdy.
I like that. I like that part. It's like a mad evil Zuckerberg. Like the owner of Facebook just went like against Superman. That's why I imagined it. But like the way that I see it is they kind of did rush Lex a little bit on his ambition, why he wanted to kill Superman. But I do appreciate them trying to remake him into a modern day person because like there was like I don't like the way that they set it up in some of the movies. He's just like, yep, I'm Batman's I'm Superman's villain, and that's my job. Like that's what I am. I just live. No, it's like the younger dude. He has a tech company, and he's a mad scientist to an extent. You know what I mean? I appreciate that. But then again, I'm not no avid comic fan or whatever. I don't read no comic books. I'm just appreciating the movie for what it is.
All right, well, that sounds like a good note to wrap this video up. If you guys are watching and you're having problems with the chat box still, it's really me having problems with the chat box, but all of that will be figured out for this Saturday at 4 p.m., April 9th. Make sure you stay tuned, stay locked into your seats and your dialers, and you have your little clickers next to the TV, and you're ready to watch because Brotherhood Without Manners is going down on Ray's channel. But yeah, if you guys have any thoughts on Batman vs. Superman, like why do you think it was? Do you think it was overhyped? Do you think the critics need to go suck a dick or something? You let me know what you think down in the comment section. I'm Mark, and this is
Rayz de Alba.
Thank you all for watching. Peace.
Peace.